Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something tonight that every man knows deep down, and maybe, just maybe, some of us are afraid to admit it out loud. You want to know what keeps a man up at night? It ain't always bills. It ain't always stress. Sometimes it's her. That woman he couldn't stop thinking about. That woman who walked into his life, didn't try to impress nobody, and yet somehow she changed everything. Confidence is something that can't be faked, bought, or borrowed. It's something that lives in you, and the kind that doesn't need validation, that's the kind that leaves a mark. Now, let me tell you something. When a woman walks into the room with that type of confidence, everything changes. She ain't asking you to look at her. She's not begging for your attention. She's not trying to compete with nobody, not trying to outshine anyone. But you still notice her, you feel her presence, not because she's loud, not because she's dressed a certain way, but because her energy says, I know who I am, and I don't need you to tell me. That kind of woman makes a man sit up straighter. It's the difference between a woman who wants love and a woman who needs it. The one who wants it, she's selective. She's not chasing it. She's attracting it. That's what confidence does. She ain't trying to fit into a mold, and she's not breaking her back to be someone else's idea of enough. She's already enough. And when a man sees that, it messes with him, because deep down, every man wants to be needed. But when he meets a woman who doesn't need him but chooses him, that's the kind of woman that shakes his soul. A confident woman doesn't try to prove her worth. She knows it. She's not out here fishing for compliments or clinging to likes. She's living her truth. And if a man steps to her, he better come correct, because she's not looking for someone to complete her. She's whole all by herself. And that's what's rare. That's what's unforgettable. Most people want to be chosen, but she's busy choosing herself. She's not waiting to be saved. She already rescued herself a long time ago. Now, let's be real. This kind of woman intimidates a lot of men, because if a man's insecure, if he don't know who he is, he'll feel small next to her. Not because she's trying to make him feel small, but because her shine makes him confront the parts of himself he's been ignoring. And that ain't easy. But the right man, the grown man, the man who's done some work on himself, he sees her and says, that's what I've been praying for. Not a project, not a placeholder, but a woman with power in her posture, peace in her presence, and pride in her steps. She's the kind of woman who doesn't just walk away when she's not being treated right. She doesn't even entertain it in the first place. She has boundaries, and those boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're gates that let the right ones in. You can't just talk the talk with her. You have to show up. You have to mean it, because she's not fooled by charm, and she's not moved by smooth words. She's watching actions. She's checking consistency. She's learned how to read energy. And if yours don't match hers, you ain't staying long. And let me tell you, when she leaves, if you ever lose her, it'll hit you in waves, because you'll look back and realize she wasn't trying to impress you. She was trying to be herself. And that's what stings. That's what keeps a man up at night, knowing he had a woman who didn't need his attention to feel beautiful, who didn't shrink herself to make him feel big, who wasn't afraid to be alone. And when you lose that, you don't replace it. You remember it, you replay it, you compare everyone else to it. Confidence that doesn't seek validation is unforgettable. It's not arrogance, it's not attitude, it's alignment, it's self-awareness. It's peace in knowing that if you stay or if you leave, she's still gonna rise. She's still gonna glow. That kind of confidence doesn't ask, do you love me? It asks, do you love yourself enough to handle me? And baby, if you can't answer that, don't step to it. Because this woman, she's not for the faint-hearted. She's for the bold. She's for the brave. She's for the man who sees her value and doesn't feel threatened by it, but blessed by it. Let me tell you something something a lot of folks don't want to talk about. Emotional maturity in a woman, that right there is gold. That's what separates a good time from a lifetime. See, anybody can fall in love. Anybody can say the right thing when everything's going good. But when things get tough, when life throws its punches, when words get misunderstood, or when pride tries to get in the way, emotional maturity is what keeps everything together. And when a man meets a woman with emotional maturity, he feels something he ain't used to. Peace. Not just excitement, not just chemistry, but peace. And that peace is powerful. She's not into games. She doesn't use silence as a weapon. She doesn't keep score. She doesn't wait 3 hours to reply just to make a point. She doesn't disappear to test your loyalty. She doesn't play emotional ping pong. Instead, she communicates, she talks, she listens. And when she says something hurts her, she's not attacking you. You can feel she's just trying to be understood. And when she hears something that hurts, she doesn't blow up, she pauses, she processes, and she responds with grace. Now, let me tell you something. That kind of woman, she's rare. And when a man has that, he don't forget her ever. Because a lot of men, let's be real, we've seen the opposite. We've seen the yelling, the drama, the walking out, the pettiness, the I'm fine when she's clearly not fine. We've seen love that felt like a war zone. But then here comes this woman who brings calm. She doesn't avoid tough conversations. She makes them safe. She doesn't pretend everything is perfect. She creates space for the truth. She's the kind of woman who says, let's talk about it, even when it's uncomfortable, because she knows sweeping things under the rug don't make them disappear. It just makes people trip later. She ain't trying to win. She's trying to connect. And that's what makes her unforgettable. Because men are tired of games, tired of being misunderstood, tired of walking on eggshells. When a man meets a woman who is emotionally mature, it's like he finally exhaled. Because this woman doesn't try to tear him down when he opens up. She doesn't mock his vulnerability. She doesn't call him soft when he shares his fears. Instead, she holds space for him. She listens without judgment. She doesn't interrupt to defend herself. She listens to understand, not to respond. And she doesn't let her past punish her present. Just because someone else hurt her doesn't mean she takes it out on you. Just because someone else lied doesn't mean she starts accusing you. She's healed enough to know that you are not him. And that right there, that's a woman who did her inner work. That's a woman who sat with her pain and turned it into wisdom. She's not perfect, but she's aware. And awareness, that's what makes her different. A man will lie awake thinking about her, not because she shouted the loudest or threw the biggest tantrum, but because she made him feel safe. Because she made him feel seen. And when he lost her, he didn't just lose a woman. He lost a whole sanctuary, a place where he could put his guard down and stop pretending, a space where he could breathe. Now listen, emotional maturity ain't about age. It ain't about how long you've been in relationships. It's about how deep you've gone with yourself. It's about knowing when to speak and when to listen. It's about apologizing when you're wrong and not punishing when you hurt. It's about loving in a way that heals instead of harms. That woman, the one who embodies that, she don't chase love. She creates it. She holds it. She builds it. And if a man ever walks away from her, trust and believe, he's going to feel that loss like a shadow that never leaves his side. Because she wasn't just emotionally available, she was emotionally intelligent. That kind of woman doesn't just change your heart, she changes your standard. There's something deeply powerful about a woman who has purpose in her life beyond just finding love. Don't get me wrong. She wants love, she values it, she can give it and receive it with a full heart, but it's not her whole identity. It's not what defines her. It's not what gives her value. That kind of woman walks differently. She's not sitting around waiting for a man to complete her. She's already whole. And when you see her, you can feel that she's on a mission. She's building something, chasing something, becoming something. Her eyes don't just shine because she's in love with someone. They shine because she's in love with her life. She's the kind of woman who got a calendar full of goals. She's writing visions down. She's waking up with a sense of direction. She's got dreams she's watering every day. She's not looking for someone to come and rescue her. She's her own rescue plan. And when a man meets that kind of woman, it throws him off a little because he's used to being the center of someone's world. He's used to being the reason for a woman's smile. But this woman, she smiles because she knows she's walking in purpose. She laughs because she's proud of the woman she's becoming. She glows because she's aligned with what God placed inside her. And that, my friend, is unforgettable because purpose gives her depth. It gives her layers. She can talk about love, yes, but she can also talk about business, about healing, about growth, about faith, about art, about legacy. She's not one-dimensional. She's not only concerned with who's texting her back. She's concerned with what kind of impact she's leaving on this earth. A man looks at that and realizes this woman's time is valuable. Her energy is sacred. Her peace is non-negotiable. You can't play with a woman like that. You can't breadcrumb her or put her on hold. She's not sitting by the phone. She's busy. She's focused. She's out here making moves. And that don't mean she doesn't care. It means she's got a full plate already. So if you want to be in her life, you better come with consistency. You better come with purpose too, because a man with no vision can't walk beside a woman who's already running toward her. She's got purpose in her bones, and you can see it in how she spends her time. She's intentional with her friendships, selective with her environment, and disciplined in her habits. She may love hard, but she doesn't lose herself in love. She stays rooted. She stays grounded. She's not trying to find herself in a relationship because she already knows herself. And when she loves, she adds to your life. She doesn't drain it. She doesn't demand it. She adds value. She inspires. She uplifts. She motivates. And when she walks away, if you ever mess that up, it hits you differently because you don't just lose someone some hoe at night. You lose a vision a force, a woman who was on fire. You lose the one who made you want to level up, who made you question your own purpose. And late at night when everything's quiet, you remember the way she carried herself. Not desperate, not needy, just full of direction, full of conviction. She wasn't asking you to be her whole world. She was asking if you were ready to walk beside her in the one she was building. There's nothing more attractive, more haunting, more unforgettable than a woman with purpose. Not because she doesn't need love, but because she refuses to settle for love that distracts her from her calling. She wants alignment, not just attention. She wants a partner, not a project. And she's not afraid to wait for it. You can try to forget her, try to move on, but there will always be a part of you that remembers the moment you realized she wasn't chasing love, she was chasing purpose. And in doing that, she became the kind of woman love chased. A woman who is unapologetically herself. Now, that's a different kind of power right there. She ain't trying to fit into nobody's box. She ain't trying to blend in with the crowd. She's not trying to water herself down so people can swallow her easier. She's bold. She's real. And she's not afraid to let the world see exactly who she is. And you know what? That's exactly why she's unforgettable. Because in a world full of filters, facades, and faking it just to be accepted, she stands out by simply being herself. And that kind of honesty, that kind of bold truth, it grabs a man's attention and keeps him awake at night. She laughs loud if she feels like it. She speaks when something needs to be said, and she stays silent when her peace means more than proving a point. She doesn't pretend to be sweet if she's feeling bold. She doesn't pretend to be quiet if her spirit is roaring. And she's not out here waiting for permission to live loud and proud. She's not trying to play the role of what people think a woman should be. She rewrote that whole script because her identity is not a costume. It's not a performance. It's her truth, and she wears it every day with her head held high. She's the type of woman who says what's on her heart, even if her voice shakes a little. She walks into a room like she owns her space, not because she's arrogant, but because she refuses to shrink. She's not worried about being liked by everyone because she knows that the right people will love her exactly as she is. And that kind of self-trust, that kind of honesty, it makes her magnetic. People don't just hear her, they feel her. And a man who experiences that kind of woman, even for a short time, never forgets her. She's not chasing trends. She's not copying personalities. She's not reading how to be lovable guides. She knows that her authenticity is what makes her rare. She's comfortable in her skin, even if it makes other people uncomfortable, because she's not here to make people comfortable. She's here to live out her truth. And when you sit across from her, you know she's not putting on a show. You can't fake the kind of freedom she walks in. She tells the truth about her past, her pain, her passions. She's not perfect, and she don't pretend to be. She owns her scars, she's proud of her progress, and she ain't ashamed of her story. Now listen, when a woman is that real, she's gonna rub some people the wrong way. Not everybody can handle the truth, especially when it's spoken without apology. Some people are used to masks, to politeness that covers up discomfort, to women who agree just to keep the peace. But this woman, she is the peace. And if she has to disturb the room to keep her integrity, she'll do it. She don't fold under pressure. She don't switch up just to fit in. And that's exactly what makes her unforgettable. See, when a man meets that kind of woman, it changes him. At first, she might scare him a little. because she's not playing by the usual rules. She's not waiting for him to lead the way. She's already moving. She's not needing his approval. She's giving herself permission, and that can shake a man's foundation. But the right man, the grown man, he won't try to change her. He'll respect her. He'll admire the fact that she refuses to be anybody but herself. And if he loses her, if he walks away or fumbles her spirit, he'll feel that loss deep. Because you don't forget a woman who showed up as herself. You don't forget the one who didn't edit her personality to please you. You remember her every time you meet someone who's pretending. She didn't come into your life to perform. She came to be. And in doing so, she gave you a glimpse of what real looks like. No mask, no filter, no game, just a soul, raw and radiant. A woman like that doesn't try to leave a mark. She is the mark. She doesn't need to be unforgettable. She just needs to be herself. And that's exactly why you'll never forget her. Now, let me tell you something. When a woman has a nurturing spirit, it's one of the most beautiful, most healing things a man can ever experience. She makes you feel safe, seen, and supported. You walk into her space and you feel the warmth in her presence. She knows how to care, how to love, how to pour into you without needing to say a word. But let me be clear. This kind of woman is not just sweet. She's not just soft. She's not just giving all day long without limits. No, sir. She's got boundaries. And that's what makes her unforgettable. See, a woman who nurtures without boundaries gets taken for granted. She gets used up. She gets overlooked. But a woman who knows her worth and chooses to love from a place of strength, now that's the woman who stays on your mind. She's nurturing not because she needs to be needed, but because she chooses to care. She gives love because that's who she is, not because she's trying to earn yours. She'll cook a meal, pray over you, listen to your fears, support your dreams. But if you cross the line, disrespect her peace, or start to drain her energy without giving anything back, she'll pull back with no hesitation. And she won't make a scene about it. She'll do it gracefully, silently. But you'll feel the shift, and her nurturing spirit is rooted in wisdom. She doesn't pour into empty cups. She doesn't water dead plants. She doesn't give second, third, fourth chances to the same disrespect. She's learned sometimes the most loving thing she can do is walk away. And that's what makes her stand out. Because it's easy to love when things are easy. But loving with discernment, that's something else. That's power. She's not out here being everybody's savior. She's not playing mama to broken men who refuse to grow. She's not taking on projects. She's not trying to raise a grown man. She will support you, yes, but she won't carry you. She'll stand beside you, but she won't stand in place of your responsibility. That's what boundaries look like. And a lot of men don't realize how valuable that kind of love is until they lose it. Because when she's gone, you feel the difference. Your house don't feel the same. Your spirit don't feel the same. You start missing things you didn't even appreciate before. The calm in her voice when you were overwhelmed. The way she checked in even when you didn't ask. The way she gave you space but still stayed present. And it's not just what she did, it's how she made you feel. She had a way of making you believe in yourself again, of grounding you when life got chaotic. And suddenly, that kind of presence becomes hard to find. She was loved, but she wasn't weak. She was giving, but she wasn't desperate. She could nurture, but she didn't neglect herself. That's a hard balance to keep, but she mastered it. And that's why she left an imprint. Because most men spend their lives chasing a woman who feels like home but acts like a queen. And when they find her, they often don't know what to do with her. They confuse her boundaries for distance. They confuse her standards for pride. But when she's gone, they realize she was the real deal. She didn't ask you to fix her. She didn't demand perfection. She just needed respect, effort, and consistency. In return, she gave you comfort, kindness, and strength. She didn't just offer love, she created an atmosphere where love could grow, but only if you honored it. And when you didn't, when you played with it, that's when you saw the other side of her, the one that protects her peace, the one that closes the door without slamming it, the one that leaves you wondering how you let something so rare slip through your hands. That's what a nurturing spirit with boundaries does. It doesn't beg to stay. It teaches you what real love looks like, and then it moves on. Let me tell you, confidence is one of the most attractive things a woman can wear. And I'm not talking about being loud or flashy or the center of attention. I'm talking about that quiet, unshakable confidence. A woman who knows who she is, walks like she owns the floor beneath her, and speaks like her words matter because they do. She doesn't need to prove herself to anybody. She doesn't need validation to feel valuable. She's got that I'm good whether you choose me or not kind of energy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is unforgettable. See, this kind of woman doesn't announce her presence with noise. She announces it with energy. You feel her before she even speaks. She's got a posture that says, I know my worth, and I'm not afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't recognize it. Now, that might scare some folks. That kind of confidence will either intimidate you or inspire you, but it won't let you forget her. Because when a woman moves like that, it lingers in your memory long after she's gone. Now, let's make one thing clear. She ain't arrogant. She doesn't think she's better than anybody. She just knows she doesn't have to compare herself to anybody either. She's not in competition with other women. She applauds them. She lifts them because she's too busy building her own empire to worry about tearing someone else's down. Her confidence isn't built on being chosen. It's built on knowing she's choosable. And there's a big difference between those two. She's not afraid to be seen, but she's also not afraid to be alone. She can go to dinner by herself and enjoy every bite. She can travel solo and make memories without waiting for company. That kind of independence, that kind of self-assurance, it makes her stand out in a crowd. Because while other people are trying to blend in, she's just being herself. She's not performing. She's not putting on a character to attract attention. She doesn't need the room to approve of her before she feels beautiful. She knows she already is. She's the kind of woman who looks in the mirror and says, I love who I become. And that self-love, it shows up in how she treats others. She doesn't need to tear people down to feel tall. She doesn't need to be the loudest voice to be the most respected. Her presence alone commands attention. Not because she's demanding it, but because people recognize real when they see it. And a confident woman, she's real, she's raw, she's rooted. And here's the kicker, she's teachable. See, true confidence doesn't mean you think you know everything. It means you're open to learning, but you don't let anyone belittle you in the process. She'll listen, she'll grow, she'll own her mistakes, but she won't let you manipulate her, guilt trip her, or make her question her value. She knows how to take feedback without losing her voice. She knows how to stay humble without losing her strength. And that balance right there, that's what makes her unforgettable. A man who meets a woman like this will either rise to meet her level or fall back because he ain't ready. Because she's not going to chase you. She's not going to beg you. She'll give you the opportunity to love her, but she won't compete for your attention. And if you fumble her, if you play with her heart, trust me, you will remember it. You'll remember that confidence, that calm strength, that unbothered grace. You'll remember how she didn't crumble when you walked away. She simply kept walking in heels with purpose and a smile that said, I'm still that woman. That kind of confidence doesn't just stick in your mind, it shifts your whole standard. After her, average don't feel the same, temporary don't feel tempting. Because once you've seen a woman who knows her worth, everything else looks unsure. That's why men lose sleep over her. Not because she tried to prove her value, but because she embodied it every day, with every step, without ever having to say a word